The night was cold. Wind blew across the broken city, sharp and cruel. In the ruins of a once great building, two small alien girls sat close together, trying to stay warm. They had no clothes except for dirty rags. Their skin was covered in dust. Their eyes were red from crying. The older one, Lyra, held her little sister tight. Her arms were thin, her body shaking. But she didn't show fear. She couldn't. Not in front of her sister. "Will we die tonight?" The little one whispered. Lyra didn't answer. The younger girl's name was Nara. She was only 6 solar cycles old. Her belly had not stopped growling since morning. She had not eaten for 2 days. "I'm hungry," Nara said again, her voice weak. "I know," Lyra whispered back. "I'll find something tomorrow." But she didn't believe her own words. Their parents had died just 2 weeks ago. Raiders had attacked their home during the night. Their father, a noble warrior, had tried to fight. Their mother had hidden them inside a crate before the fire took everything. After the attack, they ran to the city. Lyra thought someone would help them, maybe an old friend of their father or a kind family. But everyone turned their backs. No food for beggars. "Go away, dirty rats. Your family is gone, so should you be?" Even the guards pushed them into the mud. And now they were here. Cold, alone, with no hope. Lyra looked up at the night sky. 2 moons floated above, full and bright. She wondered if her parents could see them from the stars. Suddenly, a loud growl made her jump. Her sister cried out, but it wasn't an animal. It was her own stomach. She closed her eyes, holding back tears. She had to stay strong for Nara. Gust of wind blew open a metal panel nearby. It slammed loudly, and both girls screamed. Lyra moved in front of Nara, shielding her with her body. Her heart pounded fast. What if someone had heard? What if someone came? They didn't want to be found. They had no protection. No weapons. Not even shoes. Lyra remembered how people looked at them like trash. Not even worth a second glance. She hated them, all of them. Suddenly, Nara coughed. Her body was burning. She was getting sick. The cold was too much. Lyra covered her with more rags and hugged her tight. "Don't worry," she whispered. "I'll protect you, I promise." But deep inside she was scared. She had no idea what to do. Then footsteps. Heavy. Slow. Getting closer. Lyra's eyes went wide. She pressed Nara close and peeked through the crack in the wall. Someone was coming. She saw boots, big ones, covered in dirt. And then legs, pants made of thick brown cloth. A shadow passed over the doorway. Lyra held her breath. The figure stopped. Then silence. Lyra felt like her heart would explode. She reached for a sharp piece of broken glass nearby. It was the only weapon she had. Suddenly, a voice, not angry, not loud. Just calm. "Is someone in there?" Lyra froze. The voice was deep, male. Strange, she didn't answer. "I saw movement," the voice said. "I have food. I can leave it here." "Food?" Lyra's eyes narrowed. Was it a trick? "I'm not here to hurt anyone," the voice said again. "If you're hiding, I understand. I've been there too." That made Lyra pause. The man slowly placed something on the ground just outside the doorway. It looked like a small pack. Then he stepped back. "I'll walk away now," he said. "If you don't want it, that's okay." He turned and began to walk off. Lyra waited. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3. Nothing. The stranger was gone. She crawled forward, quiet like a shadow, and pulled the pack inside. She opened it slowly. Inside was food. Real food. A sealed drink pouch. A warm wrapped bar. Even a blanket. Lyra stared in shock. Nara opened her eyes weakly. "What is it?" "Food," Lyra whispered. "He left it. Is he coming back?" "I don't know." They ate slowly, carefully. Nara cried again, but this time from joy. "Why did he help us?" she asked, I don't know, Lyra said. But inside something changed, for the first time in days. Hope flickered. The stranger didn't act like the others. He didn't treat them like trash. Lyra looked out at the direction he walked. She didn't know who he was, but she had a strange feeling. This was not the last time they would see him. The morning came slowly. Lyra opened her eyes to a strange smell. Not smoke. Not trash. Something warm. She sat up quickly, heart racing. The food from last night, it was real, still there. Still untouched. And Nara was sleeping better than she had in days. But something else was different. A coat, a thick, long coat now, hung over the broken door. She hadn't seen it before. She stood up, grabbed it, and checked the ground. No footsteps. No sound. But someone had come back and left something again. Miles away. A man watched from a high rock. His face was rough, with a short beard and tired eyes. He held binoculars in one hand and a thermos in the other. His name was Ray, a human. He had landed on this planet 2 months ago, sent by no one, answering to no flag. Just passing through. Just surviving. Until last night. He had seen something small move in the ruins. At first, he thought it was an animal, but it was single quotes to 2 little girls, thin, filthy, barely alive. He couldn't forget their eyes, especially the older ones. Eyes that had seen too much. He had seen those eyes before. In the mirror. Back in the ruins. Lyra folded the coat and placed it gently over her sister. She didn't trust this stranger, but she couldn't deny the truth. He hadn't hurt them. He had helped. Twice. But why? Aliens in this world didn't do that. And humans? Most of them were gone. Or dangerous. Still, this one felt different. She sat near the broken door and waited. Hours passed. Nara woke up smiling. Did you see the coat? She asked. Lyra nodded. It was him again. Is he coming back? Lyra didn't know, but deep inside, a quiet voice whispered, he's watching. That night, Lyra stayed awake. She sat outside, next to the cracked wall, glass shards still in her hand. Then she heard it. A soft rustle. She didn't move. A few steps closer. Then silence. She slowly stood and looked. Around the corner. There he was. The human. He didn't hide this time. He stood in the open, hands away from his body, showing no threat. You're awake, he said quietly. Lyra didn't speak. She gripped the glass tighter. I'm not your enemy, he said. I just saw you, and I couldn't walk away. Still. No reply. I brought something again, he added. He set a small metal box on the ground and stepped back. Lyra stared at it. Why? She finally asked. Her voice was sharp. The human looked at her, then slowly sat down on the dusty floor. Because someone once saved me, he said. When I was broken. Just like you. Lyra didn't lower the glass, but she listened. What do you want? She asked. Nothing. Everyone wants something. Not me. Silence. I don't trust you, she said. You don't have to, Ray replied. But your sister, she needs help. That hit her heart like a knife. He had noticed Nara. He had looked. He had cared. I have medicine, he continued. Food. Clean water. And a place to stay. It's not much, but it's warm. Lyra stepped forward slightly. Glass still tight in her hand. Ray didn't move. Why are you helping? She asked again, voice shaking now. He looked at her for a long moment, then said something that made her knees weak. Because you matter. 3 simple words, words she had never heard before, words that felt like magic. Her grip on the glass loosened. She looked back at her sister, sleeping under the coat, face peaceful for once. Then she looked at the man. Human. Stranger. But not a monster. Lyra took the box he left, opened it slowly. Inside, warm soup in a sealed cup. Small medical patches. A folded blanket. All real. She looked at him once more. What's your name? She asked. Ray, he said. Lyra, he smiled gently. Nice to meet you, Lyra. Later that night, when she returned to Nara, she whispered, "He's not." Like the others, Nara opened her eyes sleepily. "Will he come again?" Lyra nodded. "I think he's already waiting." Outside, on the far edge of the ruins, Ray stood under the stars. Cold wind brushed against his face, but in his heart something warm was starting to grow. He didn't know why he cared, but he did. And he wasn't going to walk away. Not again. Lyra didn't sleep that night. She watched the stars through the cracks in the roof, while her sister breathed softly beside her. One thought kept repeating in her mind. Because you matter. No one had ever said that to her before. Not even her parents. Not like that. And now, a stranger had said it. A human. Was it a lie, or was it real? She didn't know, but something inside her wanted to believe it. The next morning, she didn't wait for him. She carried Nara, still weak, still coughing, wrapped in the human's coat, and walked toward the place where she had seen him disappear. She didn't tell Nara where they were going. She didn't know herself, but her legs moved forward, step by step, toward the unknown. Ray was already waiting. He stood near a rocky hill, watching the path like he knew they would come. When he saw them, he didn't smile, didn't wave. He just opened his arms like a door. Lyra stopped a few steps away. Nara clung to her side, shivering. "You came," Ray said gently. Lyra didn't answer. "I have a place not far from here," he continued. "Safe, quiet. No one will find you." She still didn't speak. Ray took a step closer, slowly, carefully. "You don't have to trust me yet," he said. "But let me help her, please." Lyra looked at Nara, her skin pale, her lips dry, her body too hot. She couldn't fight anymore. "Lead the way," she said. The walk took half an hour. Ray led them down a narrow path between cliffs, through old trees and silent stone. Finally, he stopped in front of a large rock wall. He pressed something hidden behind a plant. With a low hum, part of the wall opened like a secret door. Behind it, a small but strong shelter, built from human tech and local stone. A mix of old and new. Lyra stepped inside with caution. It was warm. Soft lights glowed from the ceiling. There was a bed, a water unit, and food stacked neatly on the side shelves. It didn't smell like rot. It didn't smell like fear. It smelled like home. Ray gently placed Nara on the bed and scanned her with a handheld device. "Fever," he said. "Mild infection. I'll treat it." He opened a kit and started working. He moved like someone who had done this before. Not just once. Many times. Lyra stood beside him, quiet but alert, watching everything. Within minutes, Nara's breathing slowed. Her face relaxed. She fell asleep, clean, safe, warm. Lyra felt her knees shake. She almost collapsed. Ray saw it. He caught her gently before she fell. "You're tired too," he said. "I'm fine," she whispered, embarrassed. He didn't argue. Just gave her a bottle of clean water. She drank. Slowly at first. Then, like she hadn't had water in years, when she finished, she sat beside her sister and touched her forehead. "Cooler now, better. You built this place?" she asked after a long silence. Ray nodded. "I was a soldier, then a wanderer. I found this planet and decided to stop running." "Running from what?" He paused, looked at her, then said quietly, "Loss." She didn't ask more. She understood too well. Later that night, Ray cooked a warm meal. Simple stew. Nothing fancy. But for the girls, it was a feast. Nara sat up, sleepy but smiling. "Thank you, mister," she said with a little bow. Ray laughed gently. "Just Ray." "You smell weird, Ray," Nara added with a giggle. Lyra's eyes widened. "Nara," Ray only smiled. "That's fair. I haven't showered today." Nara laughed. It was a small sound, but it filled the room with light. Lyra watched her sister and felt tears burn in her eyes. She turned away quickly, wiping them before anyone saw. Ray noticed. But he said nothing. Instead, he picked up 2 spare blankets and placed them near the bed. "I know this isn't much," he said, "but you can stay as long as you want." Lyra looked at him. He wasn't offering food. He wasn't offering favors. He was offering something she had almost forgotten. A place, a choice, a home. "Why are you doing this?" she asked again. He looked her straight in the eyes. "Because no one did it for me when I needed it." Silence hung in the air. Then she whispered back the words he once told her. "We matter?" He nodded. "You always did." That night, Lyra couldn't sleep. She sat beside her sister, watching the soft lights on the wall. Her hands were clean. Her stomach was full. For the first time in weeks, she didn't feel like an animal. She didn't feel invisible. She felt seen. Outside, cold wind brushed against the mountains. But inside, the human's shelter was warm. And safe, and waiting. It started with a sound. A low hum in the night. Ray opened his eyes. That sound didn't belong in nature. It wasn't wind, wasn't rain, wasn't anything friendly. He jumped out of bed and moved to the control panel. A red light blinked on the screen. Motion detected. North side. 4 life forms, armed. Ray's heart sank. "They found us," he whispered. Lyra woke to a strange alarm, a soft buzzing inside the wall. She sat up fast, scanning the room. Ray was already loading the small weapon. "What's happening?" she asked, voice sharp. "We have visitors," he said. "Bad ones." "Raiders?" He nodded. Lyra looked down at her sister, still sleeping. Her heart filled with fear and anger. She had almost believed they were safe. Almost. Ray moved quickly. He handed Lyra a small stun baton. "Use it only if they get close." "I can fight," she said, gripping it tightly. He paused and looked at her. "I know." Then the lights went dark. Only the soft red glow from the wall lit the room. Outside, heavy boots hit the ground. A voice echoed through a loudspeaker. "We know you're in there, human. Give us the girls, and we won't burn your hideout down." Nara woke up screaming. Lyra held her close. "It's okay. I'm here. We're safe." Ray stood near the door, calm and ready. He pressed a button. A metal wall slid down to seal. "The entrance. They can't break in," he said. "This place is built from starship parts. Let them shout." Another voice called out. "Those girls are property. Alien trash. They belong to us." Lyra's jaw tightened. She had been called trash too many times, but now she had a place. Now she had someone standing beside her. She wasn't going back. Outside, one of the raiders aimed a laser cutter at the door. The others laughed. "Stupid human," one said, trying to play hero. Suddenly, a flash grenade dropped from the cliff above them, silent, fast. Boom. Light exploded. They fell to the ground screaming. Ray had climbed out through the back escape tunnel, circled around, and dropped it from above. He didn't wait. He ran down and slammed one with a shock stick. Another aimed at him, but Ray rolled and fired his pulse gun, hitting the raider in the leg. "H! You bastard!" 2 more tried to run, but Ray kicked one into the wall and pointed his weapon at the other. "Drop it," he said coldly. The last raider froze. We didn't mean no harm," he stuttered. Ray's eyes burned. "You followed children. You shouted threats. And now you beg?" He fired a warning shot near the raider's feet. "Go back. Tell your boss. These girls are under my protection. And I don't care who thinks they own them." The raider nodded quickly and ran. Ray stood there for a moment, breathing hard. His hands shook, but only a little. Then he turned and walked back to the shelter. Inside, Lyra stood ready with her weapon, guarding Nara. When Ray stepped in, she rushed to him. "You're bleeding," she gasped, pointing to a cut on his forehead. "It's just a scratch," he said with a tired smile. But he sat down anyway. Lyra cleaned the wound with soft hands. She didn't speak. She just worked quietly, like she had done this before. Where did you learn this? Ray asked softly. My mother was a healer, she said. Before. She didn't finish. Ray placed a hand on her shoulder. She would. Be proud. Lyra looked at him. I was scared, she admitted. Not of them, but of losing this. This feeling, she whispered. Of mattering, of being seen, Ray nodded. That fear never fully goes away, but you're not alone now. Nara, still curled in bed, looked up with wide eyes. Will they come back? She asked. Ray answered without hesitation. If they do, they'll regret it. Later that night, Lyra sat beside the door with her baton still in hand. She didn't sleep, not because she was scared, but because now she was ready. She was tired of being prey. Ray brought her a warm drink and sat beside her. You're strong, he said. No, she replied. I'm learning to be. He looked at her for a long moment. Then in a soft voice he said, I don't want to just protect you both. She turned to him, curious. I want to teach you, train you. So one day, you don't need anyone to protect you. Lyra stared into his eyes. And then nodded slowly. Yes, she whispered. Teach me. Outside, deep in the shadows of the cliffs, a black ship hovered in silence. Inside it, a cruel figure watched the ruins through a screen. A smile curled across sharp lips. Human thinks he's clever, the alien captain said. But next time, we bring more than 4. Lyra woke up before the sun, but Ray was already outside. She found him in the valley behind the shelter, standing still under the rising light. His eyes were closed. His hands were wrapped in old cloth. His breath was slow and deep, like he was listening to the world. What are you doing? She asked quietly. Waiting, he said without opening his eyes. For what? For the world to move first. She didn't understand, but she liked the sound of it. That morning, the lessons began. Ray stood in front of the 2 sisters, holding a long wooden staff. Survival is not just about fighting, he said. It's about knowing when to fight and when to walk away. Lyra nodded, focused. Nara just yawned and rubbed her eyes. But we won't be walking today, Ray added with a grin. He handed Lyra a small training stick. Light, but strong. Let's see what you've got. Lyra held the stick tight. Then, without warning, Ray moved, not fast but smooth. He tapped her wrist gently, knocking the stick from her hand. You hold fear, he said. Let go of that first. Lyra picked it up again, slower this time. Ray's voice stayed calm. Fear is not weakness, but it's not your master either. By the 3rd day, Lyra was already different. She stood taller. Her eyes were sharper. She had stopped flinching every time she heard a sound outside. Ray taught her more each day: how to move silently, how to spot traps, how to defend herself using even broken tools. At night, he told her stories of war, of Earth, of how he once lost his whole team in a single ambush, and how he blamed himself for years. But I kept going, he said. Because I had to. You had no one? Not anymore, Ray said. Then added softly, until now. Lyra looked at him for a long time. Then she whispered, You're not alone anymore either. While Lyra trained, Nara helped inside. She learned to use the scanner to check medicine levels. She cleaned wounds on small injured animals Ray sometimes rescued. She even learned how to mix herbal paste for healing cuts. One day, she brought a flower to Ray and smiled. This one stops bleeding, she said proudly. Ray looked amazed. You've got a healer's heart, he told her. I just don't want people to hurt anymore, she said. Simple words, but strong. Like her. One afternoon, a storm rolled in. Ray called it a black crawl. Thick clouds, cold winds, sharp rain. The shelter held firm, but outside, something crashed. Lyra and Ray rushed out. They found a small creature trapped under a fallen tree. It was shaking, crying. Ray moved to help, but Lyra stopped him. I'll do it, she said. She lifted the branches, pulled the creature free and wrapped it in her cloak. "It's scared," she said softly. "Just like we were." Ray watched her carefully. "You're ready," he said. "Ready for what?" she asked. "To protect more than just yourself." The next morning, Ray opened a hidden drawer. Inside, old armor. Not heavy metal, just light. Tactical gear made from human fabric and local hide. He handed it to Lyra. "This was mine," he said. "Now it's yours." Lyra held the armor like it was made of gold. She looked at him, unsure. "I'm not a soldier," she said. "You're more than that," he replied. "You're someone who never gave up." She put it on. It fit perfectly. That evening, Ray lit a small fire near the cave. The girl sat beside him. He pulled out a map made of thin metal and marked a glowing red dot. "This," he said, "is where the raiders took other children." Lyra stared at it. Her hands clenched into fists. "How many?" "Too many," Ray said. "And no one's going to help them." He looked at her. "At both of them. But we can." Nara's eyes widened. "Us?" Lyra stood straight, calm. "Tell me what to do." Ray smiled. Not because he was proud, but because he knew she was becoming something powerful. Not a fighter, not a warrior, something more. A protector, far away. On a dirty outpost, the raiders prepared for their next raid. They laughed about the human fool who thought he could guard 2 alien orphans. But they didn't know the truth. They didn't know what Ray had started. And they didn't know what Lyra was becoming. Because when broken things are held with care, sometimes they grow sharper than steel. And this time, she was ready. It began with a voice. A broken, desperate voice through a static radio signal. "Help, anyone. Please. They're taking the children." Then silence. Ray turned off the receiver slowly. Lyra stood across the room, already dressed in armor, eyes burning with quiet rage. "Where?" she asked. Ray pointed to a blinking dot on the metal map. Outpost 47, abandoned town. Now used as a slave market by the raiders. Lyra tightened the straps on her vest. "We're going." Ray nodded. "We leave before sunrise." Hours before dawn, the 3 stood outside the shelter. Ray checked his gear. Lyra held a compact stun rifle. Nara wore a small medical pack on her back. "You sure about this?" Ray asked, looking at Lyra. She answered without blinking. "I'm not that scared little girl anymore." He smiled. "No, you're not." They moved out, fast and silent, into the cold darkness. By midday, they reached a cliff overlooking the outpost. The town below was full of rusted buildings and broken towers. Armed raiders walked between cages and crates. Alien children were locked inside small metal pens, some crying, some silent. Nara covered her mouth, horrified. "We have to get them out," she whispered. Ray nodded. "We will, but we do it smart." He pointed to the towers. "Snipers up there, sensors on the gates. They're not ready for a fight, but they're watching." Lyra's eyes scanned the area quickly. "I see a weak spot," she said. "Back wall, near the waste pins. No guards." Ray looked proud. "Good eyes." He handed her a small round object. "Smoke bomb. Throw it when I give the signal." "What will you do?" she asked. "Make noise," he replied. "They'll follow me. You sneak in." Lyra looked nervous for a second, but then nodded. "Let's go." 10 minutes later, Ray walked straight into the town square. One guard yelled, "Hey, that's the human." Another shouted, "He's alone." Ray raised his hands slowly. "Looking for a deal," he said with a smirk. The raiders surrounded him fast, but they didn't see Lyra crawling through the trash tunnel, or Nara slipping in behind her, quiet like wind. Inside the camp, Lyra saw the cages. Alien kids. Some look even younger than Nara. Her heart pounded, but she stayed calm. She pulled out a lockbreaker Ray had given her and started unlocking each cage, one by one. "It's okay," she whispered. We're here to help." The children stared at her, confused, scared, but listened. Then the last lot clicked. That's when a loud voice screamed, "Intruders!" The alarm blared. Lyra grabbed Nara's hand. "Now!" Nara threw a flash device into the center of the camp. Boom! Bright light exploded, blinding the guards. Ray used the moment to knock one out and grab his blaster. The kids ran, guided by Lyra and Nara. "Stay together," Lyra shouted. "Follow the path." They rushed back to the tunnel. One child tripped. Lyra ran back, grabbed her, and carried her through. Behind them, bullets hit the walls, sparks flying. Ray covered the back, firing short. Controlled blast. Then dash. A tall raider captain stepped out from the smoke, muscles thick, armor dark red, big teeth showing. He pointed at Lyra. "You again, the trash girl." She froze. He walked closer. "You think you're strong now? You're still nothing." Lyra's hand shook, but then she looked behind her. Nara, the rescued children, Ray, all depending on her. She stepped forward. "I'm not nothing," she said. "I'm not yours to insult anymore." The captain laughed and charged, but she was faster. She threw the smoke bomb straight at his face. Whoosh! Smoke blinded him. She slipped past, kicked his leg, then fired the stun rifle. Zap! He fell hard. Ray reached her and grinned. "Nice shot." "Learned from the best," she said. They escaped back into the trees, leading the children far away from danger. By nightfall, they returned to the shelter. Ray helped each child settle in. Blankets, food, medicine. Lyra sat down beside Nara, her hands finally shaking. Nara hugged her tightly. "You were amazing," she whispered. "No," Lyra said softly. "We were." Ray came over and looked at the two sisters. "You saved lives today," he said. Lyra looked up at him. "And next time, we save more," Ray smiled. "Then let's get ready." Because the mission was over. But the fight for hope had just begun. The sound of laughter filled the air. Not cruel laughter, not the sharp, mocking kind the girls once knew, but real laughter, warm, loud, and alive. Inside Ray's shelter, the rescued children sat around a small table, eating, smiling, playing with scraps and tools. Some colored drawings on the wall. Others told stories in soft voices. Lyra stood near the doorway, watching them. She couldn't believe this was the same place she had once feared to enter. Once, it was just a hiding spot. Now, it felt like something more. It felt like home, outside. Nara chased a tiny blue animal in the grass, her giggles echoing through the trees. Ray sat on a rock nearby, fixing the small solar light. His hands moved slowly, older now, a little tired but steady. Lyra walked up beside him. "They're happy," she said. Ray didn't look up. "Because you made them feel safe." "We did," she corrected him. He smiled. She sat beside him. Quiet for a moment. Then spoke. "When we first met you, I thought you were strange." "You still think that?" he replied. Lyra chuckled. "Yes, but now I think maybe we needed someone strange." Ray's eyes softened. Strange enough to care, exactly. That night, under the stars, they built a fire outside. The children gathered close. It was their first time feeling warmth, not from fear, but from flame, from food, from people who wouldn't hurt them. Ray told a short story from Earth about a man who lost everything, wandered the stars, and found a broken sword. But he didn't throw it away, Ray said. He sharpened it, reforged it, and it became stronger than before. Lyra was quiet. Then she stood and looked at all the kids. "We were broken too," she said. Her voice didn't shake. "But we're not trash. We're not lost." She looked at Ray, at Nara, then at the wide-eyed children listening. "We're family now." Ray's throat tightened. He didn't speak. He didn't have to. The next day, Ray opened a large container hidden under the shelter. Inside were old tools, building parts, wiring, seeds, and maps. We're not hiding anymore. He said, "We're building something." "What do you mean?" Nara asked. "A place for others like us," Lyra answered. "For the ones still out there." Ray nodded. "We'll call it Haven." "Haven?" Nara tilted her head. "It means safety." Lyra said softly, "A place where no one is thrown away." They started that day. Lyra led the plans. Nara took care of the small ones. Ray taught them how to dig, connect power, grow food. Days passed. Then weeks. Haven grew. So did the people in it. One night, as Lyra placed blankets over two new children who had arrived days ago, one of them tugged her sleeve. "Are you the leader?" "Here," he asked shyly. Lyra paused, then smiled. "No," she said. "I'm just the big sister." She stepped outside, where Ray was fixing the roof. He glanced at her. "You all right?" Lyra nodded. Then looked up at the stars. "You think they see us?" "Who?" "My parents, the ones we lost." Ray was silent for a moment. Then answered, "I think they see what you've become, and they're proud." Lyra wiped a small tear from her cheek. Not from sadness. From peace. Later that night, Nara climbed into Lyra's bed and curled up beside her. "Do you still have bad dreams?" Nara asked. "Sometimes," Lyra whispered. "Me too." They stayed quiet for a moment. Then Nara added, "But I like waking up now. Because you're there." Lyra hugged her tightly. "I'll always be here." Outside, Ray stood alone in the dark, hands in his pockets. He looked at the lights glowing from the windows. He looked at the new walls going up, at the children learning to smile again. He looked at Lyra, strong and calm, holding her sister like a shield made of love. And for the first time in a long time, he felt something deep in his chest. Not just pride, not just peace, but belonging. He whispered to the wind, "You saved me too, kid." Then he turned around and walked back inside, into the home they built together.